America, you're about to witness three total strangers, a musician, an artist, and a business professional. We brought them together to talk about a really hard subject that they had no clue what it was before they got here.
All in the hopes that we can teach you, America, that we can discuss the most controversial topics
without being jerks to each other. Imagine that! So stick around, watch the fireworks, because we're about to go live. Welcome to the Art of Dispute, the only show where you can be friended and offended all in the same hour. This is how we roll. You know, you're just clicking through channels, you're like, hey, this looks interesting, what are they talking about? I think that guy made a good... I hate everything they say. I don't like any of these people. What's that about? America, we have a problem. You know what I'm talking about. We lovingly refer to it here on this show as the zero to Nazi effect.
Oh my God.
Yes, exactly.
That's crazy. Wow.
Exactly. Yes.
Wow.
What is that, you ask? I'm so glad you asked. The zero to Nazi effect is a measure of time. You've all experienced it. You've been on social media, you post something, you reply to some question that somebody asks, and boom, it blows up. You have a flame war. And it's the zero to you're a Nazi experience, right? It's the measure of time it takes to go from you're having a conversation to I'm going to call you every name in the book. And now I'm going to go outside and then we'll kick your dog and slit your tires and slap your mama and set your favorite rose bush on fire.
Oh, that's tough.
In similar fashion, we get a little flack. We get a little flack. Sometimes our panel isn't the diverse demographic for the topic. But what we'd like to say is that our viewpoints, all the viewpoints would be represented, and that if they're not represented here, go to our group page. The group page might have them there. If they're not there, make sure you put them on there because we want to hear them.
We're challenging thought. We're talking about all of the tough subjects, and we're just teaching people that rather than avoiding the tough subjects, novel idea, let's just not be jerks to each other.
Amen.
Amen. That's it. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about all the most important stuff. I'll actually try to understand your point of view. Right? I may not agree, but I'm going to put in the effort, and all I ask is you do the same for me. That's it. Rock on.
Let's get it.
So, on that note, we got a pretty heavy-duty subject today. It's going to be a fun one.
Some great guests.
Yeah, we got some great guests, and the topic for the day is chemically castrating child sex offenders before leaving prison, a solution or cruel and unusual punishment. So that's a beefy topic there.
Yep.
Wow.
And
Wow.
We're going to dive in, but before we dive in, we're going to get to what I like to refer to as our shameless plugs.
That's right.
It's part of the exorbitant pay package our guests get on this show, which is all the wine and or adult beverages, coffee, tea, or milk if you don't participate.
Or water.
No judgment. And a shameless plug where you get to promote whatever the heck you want. So, up first, Elizabeth Blue.
That is me.
And you go by, your artist name is just Blue.
Yep, it's my last name.
Awesome.
Some people get
You my
cool
boy.
last names that you can use.
Yeah, you got to. You absolutely have to. Absolutely.
Yeah. Other people get names like Joe.
Joe.
Not-
Joe Slim.
Yeah.
Not very interesting.
Joe Schmo.
Because I've never heard that before. I would have teachers apologize growing up. Just take any old Joe Schmo. I'm sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe. Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's rough. That's
Yeah,
rough.
when you stopped and apologized in front of everybody, that's what made it worse. And your website, Instagram.com/Elizabeth.blue3.
Indeed.
Right on. And Facebook.com/Liz.blue.9. One funny thing about Elizabeth that most people don't know, this is awesome. I love this. If people don't give one, I make it up. This is almost one I would make up. I like this one a lot. She is very specific about how she eats her cereal.
Yep.
From the way she pours it to how much milk in the bowl. It has to be just the right amount.
and I'm not
Measuring cup?
exaggerating. Oh, no. It's like I look and then I'll look again because, all right. So
Do you do that for other people?
No,
Like
okay.
if they come over?
So if I
Have to pour it
ask,
for them?
if I ask them like, hey, want me to make you a bowl of cereal? And they're like, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay, how much milk? Because I know how much milk I like. I like to drink my milk after. Like if it's Cocoa Krispies, I get pure made chocolate milk. So whenever you get to cereal, like let's say it's Cinnamon Toast Crunch, okay, cool. How much milk? I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, okay. I'm like,
That's a lot of milk.
like yeah, but it is.
I think you should totally go like the Seinfeld route with it and just, no cereal for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, just any amount of milk will do. No cereal for you.
How
Yeah, I
often
know,
do
right?
you ask your guests if they want a bowl of cereal is my question.
Not often. So whenever I do, it's like, listen, it's all or nothing. So
That's funny.
This is a deal killer. You'll need to get this answer correct.
possibly.
Next up, Daryl Douglas.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Artist name, I Come Alive.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's cool, man. Good positive vibe to it. Right on.
That's what I'm trying to do, trying to spread some love everywhere.
Hey, yes, sir.
Hey, we don't have enough out in the world,
Me
so
too,
definitely.
but now I have a restraining order. So.
Oh, okay, that's hey, that's I can't speak on that.
Right.
Hey.
But you're kind of about to.
Just spread it to yourself closely. That's all I'm saying. Just no.
Not too much.
Yeah, not too much. Love spreading. All social media at I Come Alive Band. Right on, right on. So you can find you on Instagram all over the place, right?
Absolutely.
SoundCloud, you on SoundCloud?
I'm on SoundCloud as
Right on.
well.
Right on.
There you go.
That's what
Biggest
it should be
pet
about.
peeve? Wet socks.
Oh, God.
Absolutely. So, huge pet peeve is if if you with somebody else and
It's
you
the
go
worst.
hit the ice maker and then you let it go and then that little cube
Oh, yeah.
drops. When that turns
cube
into
drop.
a puddle and I'm
Yeah.
walking through and my socks catch that, it's a wrap on the day.
It's the
I'm
worst.
done. The day's over.
back
It's
to bed.
hey, you know
Come
what?
back to bed.
Let's try this again tomorrow. That's literally it.
Go take a
Absolutely.
shower,
Absolutely.
Like,
Like I'm done. I'm done. That's just and it's cold and it's stuck with me now. I can't let it go.
you feel it in between your toes, and you're just like,
Yeah, for the rest of the day.
it's
Rest of the day.
Next up, Ashley McCann.
Welcome.
Artist name, business name, Ashley Euphoric.
Ashley Euphoric.
I like
dope.
that. That's
Thanks.
cool. Facebook.com/Ashley Euphoric.
Yes, sir.
Right on. Love it. One funny thing about Ashley that most people don't know, you leave your Halloween decorations up all year.
Yes, we do. My family and I, we are avid horror movie advocates. We love horror movies. My son, his name is Jason, and my
So
daughter.
like all of like the High School Musical.
Oh no!
But for horror,
That might be horror to an extent in some people's opinions.
Oh, yeah.
So my husband,
bad.
he actually just right before him and I got together, he bought a mask of Jason Voorhees
Oh wow.
from the original movie that was autographed by the actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my son's name is Jason. My daughter's name is Annabelle.
Star indeed.
Yes.
He was.
Yes, and also,
I'm not coming over, man.
hey, but every holiday that comes around, we decorate our Halloween decorations to fit that holiday. So, example for if it's Christmas, all of our skeletons have Santa Claus hats on. You know?
I like that.
Yeah.
All right. So, gotta dive in here, guys. Kind of give me your 1 minute bullet point. We're just gonna go down the line here.
All right.
Chemically castrating child sex offenders before leaving prison a solution or cruel and unusual punishment? Ooh, that was a good question. I wonder what they're gonna say. Let's stick around and find out. We'll be right back. Give me your 1 minute bullet point. We're just going to go down the line here. Chemically castrating child sex offenders before leaving prison, a solution or cruel and unusual punishment?
So, in particular, I don't think it's necessarily either. But to give a general stance about how I feel about it, I feel like to a certain extent it could be something that makes a statement. I would say keep them out of reach of everyone else so that way they don't go through and do it to anyone else, because that's very wrong in my opinion, not accepting it at all. And I would say give them some type of structure in order for them to get back on the right track. So.
Okay. Awesome. Daryl?
I would have to say, honestly, from my viewpoint, I can definitely see the pain involved, but the way that I look at it is, if we are castrating as a part of the sentence and releasing these humans, these people back out into society, we're robbing them of the ability to make the right choice going forward, to actually learn from the consequence and the penalty that they've already gone through and experienced. And that is robbing a humane right from someone. And that's honestly my standpoint on it.
I definitely believe that chemical castration for any child predator that is released back into society is a necessity due to personal experiences, which we can probably get onto later. I do believe that any grown adult over the age of 18 who makes the choice to engage in a sexual act with a child or a teenager of non-consenting age knows the difference, and I don't believe that they should have another chance to prove themselves worthy, because that's just another victim. It's very close and personal to me, and
It is me too.
I don't want to cry on camera, but it's very close and personal to me, and I do believe that if a child sex offender is released back out into the public, that they should be definitely chemically castrated.
I agree to your point. Absolutely. And kind of, if we just castrated him and didn't put him in jail, I mean, that's less money on us, right? Everybody all around. And to your point, they learn their lesson, and they still get to come back into the world and try their just. Something I just,
Yeah, that's that's a really interesting angle to look at that, yeah.
It is.
Just so everybody knows, because not everybody does, and I had to learn this at some point myself in getting familiar with this topic. Just to be clear, chemical castration is different than castration. There's a difference. A chemical castration is literally just injecting them with drugs that are designed to eliminate or lower their sexual urges.
destroys the libido.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know if that is new information for anybody, but do you think that that would be a solution if it lowered their urge, that lowered their libido, their sex drive, or whatever else? Do you guys feel like that would be a solution?
I would say it might help from it happening again, but at the end of the day, sadly to say, people are going to do what they want to do, and we can't always control what people do, whether it be murder, whether it be child molestation, rape, kidnapping, trafficking, whatever it may be. That might help, but I do not believe that would be a solution. So that's where I would side with her on doing it, but I would personally, in my opinion, keep them in jail. Like, you had your time, this is what you chose to do with it, this is what you're doing now.
Me personally, with that, if it were voluntary and that's something that they wanted to take as an urge or as a step towards whatever it is that they want to do as an individual, I would definitely support it. But I think that should be a choice that should be made there on their behalf as the, hey, you can take this and have this as an option in your rehabilitation if you feel you're not strong enough and you can't control yourself. But always bringing it back to the human element is the most important part, because if you're just stripping their ability to do anything away, I mean, what's the point? Are they really going to learn anything? Do they understand the realness of the consequences?
They would if they were dire.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of the
And
death penalty.
there's kind of an angle here that I want to ask where, to your point, how much are we trying to fix versus how much are we just trying to enforce it not happening? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's that old question: is prison meant to be reformative or punitive versus reformative? Right? Are we trying to reform them and fix them, or are we trying to punish them and keep it from happening? Or both and. It doesn't have to be an either or. So, in that sense, I understand where you're coming from. Like, if we take away any urge or desire or whatever else, then are they actually learning to be better, or are we just, chemically altering them to
send them back
problem?
out into society?
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's like that's where we start to, that's where it's a fine line, because the system is already broken.
The system is
To
so
where
broken.
If you're in there and you learn and you're hardened by prison, you're released out into society, and now that rate of offense again is high. So it's one of those things. Hang on, we gotta instead of restricting it and kinking it in the wrong way, let's take a look at, hey, this is a system that we designed. We made it. We made it ourselves.
What if we just stopped it right there?
Yeah.
Like,
And by
like
stop,
this.
what do you
By
mean,
stop, I mean just,
Ice pick in the eye?
I
or
don't know,
something?
like death row form, man. Or make a firing squad.
Oh, I heard that. Okay, yeah.
That's stopping it right there. No more.
Just taps.
And even chemical castration technically stops it because there's no more seed being spread. So,
Right.
I mean,
I don't know.
We gotta take a hard break. We're already up against a hard break. Time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Answer
So
when we come back.
when we come back on that point, let's talk about that. Let's go to the
For sure.
death sentence
Absolutely.
route for this. And again, with the cruel, let's kind of keep it tied to that point of the subject.
Right.
Cruel and unusual punishment.
Yep.
Is it at any point? Is the death sentence does it qualify as cruel and unusual punishment? We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Do you have a sick roof? Well, DR Roofing Services can help. We will examine your roof, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a solution. Does your home need a facelift? DR Roofing Services offers a variety of general contracting services to get your home happy and healthy again. Honest, reliable, and trustworthy. DR Roofing Services. We make house calls.
The Art of Dispute and all other artists recorded by Maddox Studios. By artists, for artists.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're diving in. We've got a great topic going on today, guys. I want to give a shout out to the Grain Cellar out in Poulet, Texas.
Thank you.
Yeah, we haven't given them a good shout out on the show in a while. Yeah. We have all kind of cool graphics, so we get lazy. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, we've got the
Been
the
paying
Grain Cellar
$10
graphics.
too many times.
Right. So yeah, Preston out at the Grain Cellar in Humble, Texas. If you guys ever get to go out there, all things fermented.
I love it.
Yeah, they teach people how to make their own beer, their own wine,
Wow.
their own cheese.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
yo.
awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. He does classes and all
Now
kind
do
of stuff.
kombucha?
They might over there.
They do
yeah,
kombucha.
sure,
Yeah, they do.
Kombucha?
Oh,
Yep.
nice.
And they have all of the
Nice.
stuff that you need to make all your own stuff. It's really cool. It's really cool. Good peeps out there.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about chemical castration and child sex offenders. Is that cruel and unusual punishment? But before we went to break, we took an angle of talking about the death penalty.
Is it worse?
As opposed to
Yeah.
chemical castration.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Right? Is there a point for you guys where that would ever be on the table, or would that also qualify as cruel and unusual punishment? Like some people, not just for child sex offenders, but as a whole, and I don't want to turn this into a death penalty conversation, but specifically as it relates to child sex offenders. Is that more on the table? Yes, no? She's ready to jump on it.
I have a very...
Torture them first?
No. Yes, of course, torture. I have a very personal and close relationship with this topic, and just to go back a little bit, I'm not going to get into any detail, but just like a rough summary, I last year received a call from my stepmother, my second stepmother, and I was informed that my biological father had been raping and sexually molesting 2 of my siblings. And I honestly, if chemical castration is scientifically proven to reduce the urges of sexual predators, I do believe that it's necessary before they're released out into the public. I don't believe that they should be given another chance to make the right choice, because if they don't make the right choice, that's one more victim in a long line of victims, and
Absolutely.
it's very hard for me.
You got it.
I'm actually very grateful that this was the topic of discussion, because
Which, by the way, nobody knows.
no,
before
nobody
they
knew.
get here.
Absolutely, it's
I can
definitely
tell
spur of the
you,
moment.
I didn't know before I got here what the topic of discussion was going to be, and I have seen how repetitive molestation and rape has affected people that are close to me, as far as PTSD, manic depressive disorder, eating disorders.
Where's their chance, right?
They're,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
where's their chance to do
they're
right?
victims, and I don't think
They're going to
that
end up being on drugs.
they're going to end up doing something.
Somebody's going to end up being on drugs.
And I don't believe that anybody who when you reach the age of 18 years old, you know, as an adult, what is considered consensual and what is considered not consensual. And if you make the choice to proceed with an opportunity that is deemed non-consensual, you have to suffer the consequences for that. Especially if it's somebody that's close to you, your relative, your child. And I honestly, personally believe that anybody who thinks it's okay to mentally, physically abuse, sexually anyone under the age of 18, I do believe that it's a mental disorder. And I don't believe that they should have the chance to be back out in society to create more victims.
I agree with you. Sorry.
First of all, you guys want to respond?
Oh yeah, I definitely, like I said, I definitely have a different point of perspective. And I remember we were examining the death penalty being on the table with this particular thing, and that kind of makes me.
That's not what I was speaking about. Just to be clear.
Right. But
okay.
I just want to bring it back and kind of tie that in with the death penalty. I honestly think that amplifies exactly what I'm talking about, and even in a relationship. As a person, let's say you do something that I don't like. I have to tell you about it and then allow you to make the decision. And then if you make the conscious decision, there are consequences. So for example, these people who have made terrible, atrocious decisions are going to prison. They're doing time. Who's to say that they don't evolve while they're there? Who's to say we're taking that choice, we're taking that away when we're manipulating, and then now we're changing them and sending them back out into society. Now we've got Jack the Ripper who can't get himself erect or do whatever it is, that's out there doing even worse things. That's how things like that begin. And instead of trying to, hey, calm down, little Billy, here you go, examine the fact that maybe Billy's just a little eccentric or whatever it is. And even with the death penalty, this is a heinous act. And just like she said, this is a person that is disturbed. But how can they learn or understand the concept without choice? If I didn't know, hey man, like,
what if it's
kinda feel like you-
so base for
Yeah.
them, as you know, from what I understand of pedophilia and that sort of thing, child sex offenders, this is something that gets wired into them at a very early age.
Yep.
Prior to 5, and some successfully fight it their whole life and never act on it, but others go down that path and they act on it, but no amount of telling them is going to fix it.
well, you can never know the path someone's life is going to take, and the moment you intervene, you've created the path that their life is going to take when you end it.
To what you were saying earlier with
And
they've
we're
done their
punishing
time.
murder with murder.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I totally
I think so.
get that.
Okay,
Yeah.
punishing murder with killing.
Yeah.
And I
No. You're right. You are
Not
100%
punishing
correct.
murder.
Punishing
I'm
murder
all-
with killing.
I'm all about
Absolutely.
doing
That's
murder things.
no.
Well, murder is
No, I agree.
murder
with
is
you.
unjust.
Well, okay.
You can kill somebody justly.
I like your okay. The
Yeah.
statistics between when people come out of jail, whatever the offense or prison, what is this? I know Joe's going to know, but how many of them are straight laced and never go back, or like
Most of them go back.
return?
Yeah, most
Right,
of them.
right.
Most
So
of them
what
go
I'm saying
back.
is they're not learning. You would hope that they would go into this situation and they would learn and they would evolve, but they're not. And
Yes.
it's not, the system's broken in such a way that it's causing a huge problem to America housing them. I mean,
Now, some of the
but we're
problems,
adding the solution on the back end instead of the front end to
What?
find out why it's going there. That's my point. Is hang on, because this has already progressed and gotten to this point, it's just easier to try and throw something here at the end of the process as opposed to looking at what brought them
entire
there.
process.
Are they getting the help that they need? Is this system broken already and this is just breaking it further?
I
That's
think,
my point.
just to toss
Yeah.
in real quick, there's
I like that.
there's the child predator, the 35, 40-year-old dude who's stalking little kids,
Right.
in the park, and then there's the 18-year-old who's dating a 16-year-old,
Right.
and her parents don't like it.
Right. The slippery slope of how the
Right.
game's played.
Yeah.
For
Right,
parents.
but
So-
all of them would fall under that umbrella. Yeah,
All of them would fall.
They're-
under
Yeah.
that
They all fall under the umbrella of technicality.
right.
And what you see is when you can go on the internet and do a basic search of underage, like under 18 child predators of so and so in your area, and
Predator map.
if you correct a predator
I
map,
don't even wanna
and
look
if
at
you
it.
see
No,
if
no.
you see
Start putting
15,
caps on
16, and 17-year-old girls on that predator map, you can kind of come to the conclusion on your own whether or not, I mean, because there are some 15-year-old girls who look like 20-year-olds. There are some 17-year-old girls who look like 25-year-olds. You can't stop that just because of other outside issues like hormones in the milk and stuff making them develop quicker. But however, when you come across an issue where it's
Whole nother
a
show right
grown
there.
adult, I'm sorry,
You're good.
a grown adult where they're taking advantage and they are a predator
Under
towards
12. Another
a
number.
7-year-old, an 8-year-old.
Right.
That's different. Those people know better. They know what they're doing is wrong because they feel like they have to hide it. And in my opinion, respectfully disagreeing with you, I believe that if somebody goes and decides to act upon that urge of somebody that's blatantly underage, that they should be punished to the fullest extent.
Because, and I can see where you're coming from, and I
The
agree a lot on
15
that,
and
too.
16-year-old, that's a blurred line.
It's an
because you
in-between.
can be a 16-year-old and portray yourself as a 20-year-old.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you guys a question. So this is actually a comment in our group. Greg Toth made this comment. I want to hit you guys with this. He said, anyone who reoffends 3 times against a child has, in my opinion, shown that they are an ongoing menace and have forfeited the right to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I could make the
I could
argument
agree
that
with
this
that.
should apply
Okay.
after the second reoffense, but I'm trying to be
Right.
reasonable.
Right.
I'm at the first. Yo.
I'm at the first. I'm at the first.
So each of you respond to that. Is it a first? Is it a second? Is it a third? Is there a point where you're like, yeah, terminate them? They're out. They're gone.
I mean, to a certain extent, I feel like it could be either or, because there's always going to be the full amount of what someone is capable of. And off of what you were saying, like, well, are they getting the right help? All in all, and I dislike to say this, people aren't going to take the help whether it's there or not. They have to want to take the help. They have to take the help themselves.
Correct.
So we can give them all the
Same
answers,
with drug addicts,
solutions,
whatever.
everything, exactly. So the decisions that we make as humans aren't just based off of us. It's based off of the things we go through, the experiences, our environment, the people we are around, the things that we've gone through. So with that being said, we can do everything we can. We can put forth all the effort, take all the money we need and to incorporate them into what we think will help. But at the end of the day, if people don't want help, they won't take it, point blank, period. So on top of that, and the death penalty, so to speak, I feel as though...
First offense, second offense, third offense, is there a point for you?
For me, I would say second, only because first offense, I would give them a second chance. I'm always on a second chance because people do change. People can repent 100% and go the opposite direction if they decide to, if they take those things out of their head, if they change their point of view.
I don't care if you do. I still don't like you.
So, okay, to each his own. But,
I agree with you.
Off with his head!
But the reason I say second is because I'm an in-between. I definitely am not okay with that stuff happening, and it really hurts to hear or read those stories whenever it does happen. But at the end of the day, it's even if they do decide to do it a second time, which would be tough, just like you're saying, another victim, it is not right. It is very incorrect for someone to do that, knowing what they're doing and being aware of it. But at the same time, that second chance, boom. That's it.
Daryl?
I can definitely get in line with that. Now, I'm not saying that the person that's committing this crime is not of the most heinous, below the dirt,
Correct.
maggot of the earth sort of act. I understand the gravity of the act, but what I'm talking about is it's easy to patch it at the back end because that's a quick action, and by doing that, we're actually robbing the entire system from even working. What's the point of going to prison and possibly getting the help that you receive if we don't even give you the ability to enact it? That's what we're taking away immediately with chemical castration.
So what do they have to offer to prison inmates?
It's not even the point, honestly. The point is, if we're gonna, what's the point of the prison? What's the point of everything that we're designing?
And we're snapping.
It's like we're breaking the system even further, and the system is already broken. If you look at the statistics, like you're saying, first offense, second offense, I agree with that. I agree with if it's a second offense, you're done, you're out. Do you see what I'm saying? But because you have clearly shown that you're going to make this decision. But if you make them have that penalty and don't give them the option to make the decision, what grounds do you have to stand on? You're literally robbing what's the point of, hey, I'm going to sit you in this corner and now I'm going to let you out. I hope you learned your lesson.
Ooh, that was a good question. I wonder what they're going to say. Let's stick around and find out. We'll be right back.
How much does it cost you to watch TV? The average household pays between $100 and $150 every month. Finally fed up with the rising cost of cable and satellite? Cut the cord and start watching the channels you want at a fraction of the cost. With IXQ TV, you'll have access to thousands of live TV channels, including sports, movies, news, premium networks, kids channels, and even local channels for as low as $39 a month. Stream in HD on your TV, tablet, phone, or even computer with multiple devices streaming at the same time. IXQ TV requires no contracts or credit checks, no installation or cancellation fees, no bogus surcharges or hidden fees. $39 a month means $39 a month. Say goodbye to high cable bills forever. Visit mycablebillstinks.com today.
So I have a question for you, and if this is too sensitive, it's totally cool. Right? So I think it's pretty easy. I'm like, where to start with this? I'm like kill them all dead, right? I like this is a single area where I have like the least mercy. Right?
I don't have
But-
a lot
I've got to.
Good people die every day,
I'm,
you know?
So I'm probing my own thought processes when I'm asking you this. Is kind of what I'm getting at. I think obviously there's a different scope of assault,
Correct.
Correct.
right?
Yes.
It's like the different degrees of murder.
Yes.
Right.
And to how it
Right.
goes through the stuff that
And
happens.
so I don't want to get too graphic about that, but there's obviously there's a into the
Right,
spectrum.
right, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. And so, what if the predator, the child predator, is caught, groping children, and that's the extent of their thing, and they keep repeatedly getting caught for inappropriately touching children, right? But that's the extent of their punishment. All right, not punishment. No, I'm already jumping ahead. to the-
Offense, yeah.
Right, right. Their
that's
offense.
their offense,
And
right?
now
Right.
death
Right?
penalty.
Is there a point? Is there a point at which you're like, no death penalty for that situation,
No,
or no? Is it still cool?
I mean, death. In my opinion, the whole thought of death is subjective because people have different beliefs on what happens to you after your spirit leaves your body. Blah blah blah. That's a different, topic or whatever.
Another show.
However, yes. However, personally, after seeing what happens firsthand to victims of sexual assault, victims as the sorry.
You're good.
So victims and predators both being in your timeline. You care for all these people. You
Sure.
care for you care for the victims, you care for the predators. And there's no way to decipher how it should be punished. However, the one thing that I know through my personal experience is that I don't want there to be any more victims. And by giving them another chance,
Yeah.
by giving them another chance to go out there and make the right choice,
It's also another
which
chance to
exactly,
make another
which,
victim.
which
should
some
have
of
never
them
been a
will make
first,
the
yeah.
right choice.
There should have never been
Some
a
of them
first
will make
victim.
the right choice. Don't get me wrong. However, some of them will make the wrong choice,
Is it
and
worth
that's another victim that's added to the list.
Yeah.
it? Is that worth it?
And
Let me ask this, that because you kind of made me think of something, right? I think that maybe what the law is getting at with, I think within the range of offense, right? For those where the offense was not so great that they are allowed to get out and be in public, where they still have to register as a sex offender,
Correct.
that type of thing.
Right.
So they're not allowed to go into situations where they would be allowed to harm.
correct.
Right. So I see that as a potential compromise between the two positions, so to speak, in saying you'll regain freedom, you'll regain the ability to make right decisions, right? But we're setting boundaries on where you're allowed to go.
Yep.
Is that an acceptable
And that's what I was gonna-
solution for you guys?
And the thing is that already exists with registry, exactly like you're saying. And
is it acceptable?
I do think it's acceptable. And having that aspect there allows for the reform to work, or at least attempt to work, and it exists. And like I was saying, by patching it at the back end, we're getting, it's like, what's the point of even having the registry there if we're just gonna castrate them anyway?
Well, we won't have to.
You know?
Kind of,
It's
we've
a lot of
got,
work.
literally, we've got 2 minutes left to wrap up the show.
Oh, wow.
So on that question for you guys, kind of a
Wowzers.
closing thoughts on that question. Is it an acceptable compromise? If like for me, if it's the full end of the offense, I don't want them in society. That's my position. Right? I don't care chemical castration, whatever. I just assume you whack them and let them meet God. That's where I'm coming from. But there's definitely a point on the spectrum where I'm like, okay, the guy groped a minor or whatever,
No.
and that's is just disgusting thing.
Yeah.
But at least
It is disgusting, but groping and raping or molesting are two different things.
Yes, they're very
They're
dynamically
two very
different.
different things. And whenever you get to the point to where you are faced with an issue of A or B, and you make the choice, you know what's right and wrong.
Sure.
As a consenting adult, you know what's right and wrong. And if you choose to do what's wrong, you can't use your second offense or your second conviction or whatever it is to go on, because that's just another victim.
Yeah.
One victim matters.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
people, whenever, like off topic, they talk about abortion or all this other stuff. 1%, blah blah blah. 1% is still thousands of people. Like, you have to understand. Means something.
Yep.
If you can stop somebody from doing something, stop them from doing something. Whenever they reach a consenting age, if they're not mentally stable enough to realize what they're doing is wrong, then they deserve to be in an institution where somebody can train them, their mental instabilities or whatever it is.
I would just say life in prison.
So
Life in prison.
we're out of time.
Yeah.
This is like, I really want to continue this.
Yeah,
part.
I know.
Hey, whenever
I really want to continue this
when
part of
this
the
airs
conversation.
in the group, make sure you go to the group.
Yeah.
And get in the comments.
Yes,
And
definitely.
this-
Let us know your thoughts.
This
Absolutely.
this topic has been debated, is ongoing in the group. So if you want to join the conversation, hop over to artofdispute.com. At the very, very top of the page is a little thin little banner you can click on that'll take you straight to our group, where you can join the group and be a part of it. So another great show, another great conversation. We got to hear some mad music skills from my man Daryl here.
All right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Daryl, what are you about to play for us? Tell us what the name of the song is and where our friends can find it.
All
We're
right.
out.
My name is Daryl. I'm with I Come Alive. I'm out here. I'm going to play a new song for you guys off of my single. And it's on the record Shattered Teeth. You can go pick it up on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere you get music. And I've got my buddy Cooley Booley here with me. He's going to show some love. So we're going to play a tune for you, and he's here for some support. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And it's called Enemy in the Gates. It's the new single.
Come on, man.
You can love me the way that I love you. I know you think that you do, but it's not true. I take a look inside, do my best to analyze and identify the cause in me. How can I love you if I don't love me? When I close my eyes and fall asleep, see your smile. When I open my pride to defeat, I know I'll be here for a while. I don't love you the way that I know I should. I know I say that I do, but if I could, I take a look inside, do my best to analyze and identify the cause in me. How can I love you if I don't love me? When I close my eyes and fall asleep, I only see your smile. When I open my pride to defeat, I know I'll be here for a while. I don't love me the way that I really should. My blinding flaws overshadow all the good. I tell myself a lie, I in turn internalize, then I give myself a harsh critique. Can someone tell me how the enemy got inside? And when I close my eyes and fall asleep, I only see your smile. And when I open my pride to defeat, I know I'll be here for a while. Could somebody tell me how? Could somebody tell me how? Could somebody tell me how the enemy got inside? Could somebody tell me how? Could somebody tell me now? Could somebody tell me how the enemy got inside?
Alright, everybody quiet on set. Great song, man. Killer song, dude.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, right on. What was the name of that song again?
Enemy in the Gates.
Sweet. Where they can find it.
Definitely make sure you go iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Store, everywhere that you can find your music. I'm there.
Sweet. I just had to do a Yoda impression right there. Awesome song, man. I really enjoyed it.
I appreciate that.
Really good song. Cool message in the song. I enjoyed it. Love it. Look, check it out on our YouTube channel too. We're gonna have it up on the Art of Dispute YouTube page. Another great show. Man, killer discussion. Phenomenal. We're out.
How am I bad at clapping right now?